Hello, I know I am late to the party here, but I just recently purchased this beautiful plane and I decided to give my opinion about it. So I have decided to make JustFlight Arrow my first payware airplane for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I am so happy about my decision, and here's my non-professional opinion. I am not a real pilot. I love some system depth and realism, but I am not into little specific details. In other words, I don't care if it's study level or not, but obviously, study level doesn't hurt. Anyway, this term is so overused these days that it's more of a marketing term rather than accurate description of the aircraft. This is a review for casual simmers who just want an opinion from another casual simmer. First, let's start with the visuals and look at the exterior modeling. Exterior looks great, as you can see. The airplane looks absolutely stunning when you look at it from some distance. It only gets a bit worse when you look at it from extremely close distance. There are some small visual downsides you can see in this case. You can see the textures could be of higher resolution, but anyway, I doubt you would look at it from that distance a lot when flying. And this extremely minor downside probably is the biggest downside of this aircraft, which says a lot, and that means the product is really good. But still, I hope that JustFlight will improve their 3D modeling just a bit. Use some higher resolution textures, please. Pretty please. This could only benefit you because many people love making cinematic videos, close-up shots of the planes, so it would work kind of in a promotional way maybe. Now let's look at the interior modeling. It is very well done, as you can see, and looks stunning. Again, just like with exterior, if you want to start nitpicking, you can find spots in the cockpit which got less love when it comes to texturing, but you don't look at those spots often, if at all, anyway. Cockpit looks very realistic and has veer, and you can see that even veer is smartly done. Like, for example, left handle of the yoke is completely worn off while right side is almost as new. I guess that's because pilots use left hand to hold the yoke and right hand for the throttle, so it looks pretty realistic. These little and honestly non-important details which do not affect flying or anything else related to flying are so cool to have, and they add that feeling of realism. For example, Coronado aircraft are way too clean for me. Of course, the best solution is when you can choose between old, used, and clean cockpits. But I love this old looking cockpit much more. It feels mine, it feels like I have been using it for real, which is very good for immersion and role playing. Speaking of role playing, you will love this one. You can open doors and windows, which is kinda standard for pair planes by now, but it's good for immersion too. I love a bit of role playing and starting with doors open, chocks on, and all the other stuff. But that's not all. You can refill the oil and charge the battery, which even has their respective sound effects. How awesome is that? On the tablet here, you get to choose from different GPS options, from old school and no GPS at all to less or more modern ones. There's some kind of old GPS. I haven't looked into it yet much, but it seems like a perfect thing for those who enjoy old school stuff. I personally prefer flying this without GPS at all, using radios only. ADF and VORs are fun, and I suggest at least trying it because it's extremely fun. But if you want more relaxing flights, just pick whichever GPS option you like and get in the air to catch that rainbow. It's a matter of taste, and it's good to see developers giving users a choice so that everyone could fly how they like. All the buttons and switches work, and they actually do something and are important. They are not just for the show here. Even circuit breakers work. I mean, they actually work and do stuff. Just a quick demonstration here. Let's turn on the lights. Now let's go outside and look that lights are working. Okay, it seems good, right? Let's go inside now and pull the lights, circuit breakers. Now let's get back outside and look at the lights. Bam! They all went off. Nice, huh? See, this is what I love about this plane. It's a really simple plane actually, but it has so much depth, and even plane as simple as this one will require some learning, and it will need you to adapt to new things if you are jumping from default ones. There are some sort of failures. I had 3 circuit breakers jump out on my first flight, so that means you need to be careful with this plane and not fly it like an acrobatic plane. There is state saving option, which means if you enable it, fly, land, quit, and then next time when you get into the plane, you will find everything how you left it. Really nice feature, and I think this should be mandatory for every pair aircraft. Again, one more feature towards realism and immersion. Another great thing about this plane are sounds. Sounds are really good. No, not good. Amazing sounds. I absolutely love how it sounds in the cockpit, and external sounds also are amazing. When I hear how this little old bird sounds, it feels like I am there, like I'm really inside it. Sounds are stunning. Just listen to this. Now let's get this old bird in the air, fly around and land. Flying feels completely different from default aircraft. This plane has its own character, and is a real joy to fly. Need some time to get used to since flight dynamics are quite different. Don't know how to say it, but it feels more alive, different. I love how it behaves on approach, and it's also less erratic and less sensitive to tiny inputs. Sadly, this is all I could say about flight dynamics, since, as I mentioned, I have no real life experience in flying, so I just can't really compare it to the real thing. Autopilot is very different from what you are used to in default aircraft. Read the manual. It has a lot of useful info, so don't complain about something not working before making sure you did everything right. It's slow, but it's an old general aviation aircraft, and that's a positive for VFR flights at low altitudes. If you love VFR, it's a joy. You get a nice view out of the windows and cool, accurately represented instruments to keep an eye out through your flights. It might be pretty challenging at first because you need to watch the gauges and pay much more attention to everything else when compared to default planes. Overall, I have really enjoyed this bird, and I think it will be one of my main aircrafts for VFR flying. This is pretty expensive one compared to other add-ons like Coronado, for example. Sure, Coronado looks better and is cheaper, but they don't have system depth JustFlight delivers. They are not as unique as this one. Nevertheless, both companies make more or less good aircraft, just for maybe slightly different audience, so the choice is yours. 38 euros for really authentic feel and better representation of the real thing, or less money for better visual model but less accurate modeling of the systems. Depends what you prefer, and if you really need all the stuff this one provides, maybe you just don't care about all the stuff I just mentioned and just want a nice model, get in the air and fly. It's up to you. You also get 66% discount for Turbo Arrow if you buy this one, so you can get another Arrow for longer flights at higher altitudes for a really good price. Is this worth it? I would say definitely yes. I recommend it, especially if you want something new and if you are ready to learn and to dig deeper into flight sims and maybe aviation in general. Believe me, you will not regret this. So, thanks for watching. I hope this helped some of you make a decision on how to spend your money. If you want to support the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and check out the link in the description. If you don't like it, oh well, I guess hit the dislike button and be on your way. Stay safe, have a good day, and enjoy your flying. Bye!